Ever spent an entire afternoon assembling a piece of flat-pack furniture, only to look at it with a sense of pride, and maybe a touch of exasperation? Believe it or not, that pride is part of a quirky psychological phenomenon called the IKEA Effect. Named after the popular Swedish furniture brand, this effect describes our tendency to overvalue things we've put effort into building or customizing even if they're not exactly masterpieces. Hopefully, by the end of this lesson, you'll not only understand this peculiar bias but also learn how it may be influencing your financial. The IKEA effect is a cognitive bias where people inherently place more value on products they partially created. In a study by Harvard professor Michael Norton and his colleagues, participants were more attached to their self-assembled IKEA furniture, origami, and Lego projects, not because these items were better made, but because they invested their labor into them. Imagine buying a cake mix and simply adding water versus a mix where you have to add eggs and oil. The latter feels more satisfying because you're more involved. This motivation doesn't just apply to assembly projects. It can creep into decisions about building a business, choosing investments, or selecting DIY tasks. The 3 pillars of the IKEA effect. Competence. Completing a task, even as simple as assembling a shelf, enhances your sense of competence. You feel like you conquered a challenge, and that's rewarding in itself. In the workplace, pitching a project can feel this way, which might explain why bosses often favor their team's ideas over external suggestions. 2. Effort justification. The harder you work for something, like struggling with a complicated RV remodel, the more you believe it was worth it, even if it wasn't. This mindset can impact investments, where time and effort make a decision feel more valuable than it might be. 3. Endowment effect. This is the emotional attachment you develop through ownership. When your sweat and time are involved, you perceive your creation as more valuable. Side hustles. If you've ever started a side hustle, you might have experienced the IKEA effect firsthand. The amount of work you put in can make you blind to potential flaws or inefficiencies. Home projects. Consider a DIY renovation where personal taste has taken precedence over market trends. The downside is that you might overestimate your home's market value because of your labor and taste. Investments. You might overestimate the potential of DIY investment strategies or tools, especially ones you've spent considerable time crafting or following. 1. Seek second opinions. Whenever you're deeply involved in a project, ask a friend or expert to evaluate its worth. A fresh set of eyes can catch what your biased ones miss. 2. Balance DIY and outsourcing. If building your deck or managing your portfolio becomes overwhelming, consider professional help. The money spent might save both headaches and produce higher quality results. 3. Embrace feedback. Constructive feedback isn't criticism, it's a tool to refine your work. Approach it with openness and use it to recalibrate your valuations. 4. Set clear goals. Define what success looks like ahead of time, so you're less attached when results don't match effort. This is especially useful in investments, where the sunk cost fallacy can cause you to hold a losing position too long. Did you know that the cake mix industry saw a boom when it switched from just add water to requiring fresh eggs? This was a savvy marketing shift to let consumers feel their effort enhanced quality. Classic IKEA effect in action. The IKEA effect is our tendency to overvalue what we put effort into creating, driven by feelings of competence, effort justification, and ownership. This bias can influence spending decisions, investments, and DIY projects, sometimes leading to overvaluation. Use constructive feedback, expert opinions, and clear goals to balance effort with realistic valuation. Keep this in mind the next time you find yourself deep in a project.